Hey, my happy shiny puppy. This is Melody Fletcher, and I explain the law of attraction to highly intellectual people in a way that actually makes some freaking sense. Okay, so today I want to answer a question that came to me from an awesome Janie. Thank you, Janie. And she writes, I have been deliberate in thought and focus, and I know how it works, but I still have so many questions. One that keeps begging to be answered is, how do you explain or reconcile LOA, law of attraction, or intuition? I feel the two are related, but still different. For instance, I focus and attract to deliberately receive, but when I feel intuitive, it's more about something attracted me. Is it possible? Can LOA and these other concepts exist together? Well, Janie, this is actually a really interesting question because a lot of people sort of misunderstand what intuition is. So intuition is really the guiding sense. It's sort of information that comes to you where it's a sense of recognition when you focus on something. When something comes into your experience, whether it's your thoughts or your physical reality, and so something has been attracted into your reality, and then there is this intuitive hit, there's this sense of recognition that says, there's something there for me. So a lot of people will say, you know, they were intuitively guided to something. They may have not even been paying attention, and suddenly they realized they walked down the street or took a different way, or were reading something online and sort of lost themselves in it, and suddenly there was something that they recognized as being significant in some way. Maybe they didn't even know. Usually you don't know why it's significant, but it is. So intuition is very much part of the attraction mechanism. And so as I explain in my book, Deliberate Receiving, Finally the Universe Makes Some Freaking Sense, which you have read, there is a progression of manifestation. And just to give a real quick rundown of the progression, manifestations come into the physical in 5 stages. Stage 1 is focus. Stage 2 is emotion, which is your first bit of feedback that comes in. Something feels a certain way. Stage 3 is thoughts, memories, and ideas get attracted to you. Yes, memories and thoughts and ideas are all manifestations. And stage 4, synchronicities. Those are smaller manifestations that are easy to miss and dismiss. We often call them coincidences. And then stage 5 are the big physical manifestations. So what happens is that manifestations sort of get bigger and bigger and bigger as you're on a progression. And this is true whether you're on a progression of something that is wanted or not wanted or somewhat wanted. It all depends on the frequency that you are activating, yeah, within yourself. So as you're activating these frequencies within yourself, as you are vibrating at a certain frequency, your reality is going to mirror that frequency back to you through manifestations. And they are all going to feel the way that the frequency that you've activated feels. That's why emotions and feelings are so important in this work, because they're your first indicator of what frequency you're actually manifesting. So when you are intuitively guided to something, when that information, that recognition comes in, yeah, that means that that manifestation strongly matches the progression of manifestation that you're on, and is going to take you further down that progression. And even your journey to that thing that sort of gave you that intuitive hit was part of the manifestation. Remember, action is also part of your manifestation. Action is a manifestation. You are guided to that action. Again, whether it's positive or negative. The actions that you take are a direct result of your energy, of your vibration, and of the progression of manifestation that you've got going. Which is why you can often, when you've got a strong progression going, take action without even meaning to. You can't help yourself. It might be in the negative, might also be in the positive. You're sort of taking action before you even know what's happened. Yeah? So that intuition is just that recognition that something has come in that matches that. So your job really is just to make sure that you are vibrating at a frequency of something that you want, rather than vibrating at a frequency that's there by default, because maybe it's the frequency that you inherited from your culture, from your parents, from whatever vibrational soup you were born into. Yeah, sort of like having programs installed on your hard drive by your family, your culture, your religion, your geographic location, that you can then replace with programs that serve you better now. And those old programs that no longer serve you are what we call limiting beliefs. That's all a belief really is. It's kind of an outdated program, because you have a lot of beliefs, many of which serve you greatly, but some of them get outdated. It's software that gets outdated that we want to replace. Yeah. And so intuition can sometimes not serve you. And the reason why it might not serve you is because if you've got a strong sort of progression going on something that you don't want, you might get an intuitive hit that matches that progression. But that's not the kind of intuition that we really want to activate. We want to activate the intuition that helps us to recognize what is for what we often call our highest good. So our highest good being the thing that we really want the most, or that matches who we really are. If we were to drop all of our defensive mechanisms and drop all of our fears and be just completely and totally in the vibration of love, what would our intuition tell us then? And there is a way to activate that. Yeah, the way to activate that is to get into a high vibration as much as you possibly can. It does not need to be 100% of the time. All you really need to do is split the balance between being in a lower vibration, being in a higher vibration. So try your best to do it as much as you can, or as often as you think about it. And how do you get into high vibration? Well, you do things that feel good. You don't try to feel good about the things that you don't feel good about. You just do things that feel good. And that will start to activate a progression of manifestation that's on a higher frequency. And then those intuitive hits that you're getting will lead you towards what it is that you actually want. And that's a lot of the time what we do in this work. We just manifest, we manifest an intuitive hit that leads us towards what we want by getting into a general, can be a totally general, doesn't have to be specific, very general, high vibration. So a lot of times just by relaxing, by taking a breath or 20, by meditating a bit, you can already start to activate higher vibrations by going to a funny movie, reading a funny book, looking at funny cat videos online, having great conversation with friends, having fun, giving yourself permission to do that. You could already start to activate that. And of course, you can also deliberately and very specifically work on things, but make sure that you notice how that feels. And if you're feeling good, yeah, you're going to start a progression of manifestation, and you're going to build that progression of manifestation that is going to bring about more and more what you want, which means that your intuitive hits, that sense of recognition that you're getting, that guidance that you're getting, that seems to be pulling you towards something, yeah, is because it's sort of happening at the same time. What you're really feeling is that you're attracting it. Yeah, but if you have no frame of reference, there's no background, and one object is moving towards another, you really cannot tell if this object is moving to that or that object is moving to this one. Yeah, you wouldn't have any way of knowing. So if you were out in space, for example, you would have no frame of reference of what is stationary. Or where up and down is, where left and right is, yeah. And so if you have no frame of reference, you can't tell which one's going. So are you attracting it? It is attracting you? Well, you're attracting it, but you're attracting each other. And that's why sometimes it feels like, you know, it is attracting you. You were guided to it because your actions, which are a manifestation, were guiding you towards this thing that is coming into your life. And you were actually part of the mechanism that helped you get there. So by walking down a certain street, by clicking on a certain website, that action was part of your manifestation that brought it to you, just as much as if a delivery guy had showed up at your front door and handed you a package. Okay, so I hope I've clarified that. I will talk to you next week. Until then, thank you for bringing your light to the world, and happy shiny puppy hugs. Bye.